There she is again. Hello, everybody, and welcome. I hate that, by the way. I don't like that at all. It's very awkward to me. I know it's recording. There's a red button that says recording at the top. Hi, everybody. Nice to see you all again. My name is Jim. Welcome to the Lab Epstein Hitting Podcast, episode number 57. We're matching today. I'm Jim, and joining me is my friend, co-host, professional evaluator, our former coach, and all the other accolades that he does, and successful business owner, and people's champ, and apparently he's Shakespeare now. And he copied my outfit today: black shirt, same hat. Well, lab hat, not the same logo,
We
but.
didn't even text.
No, we didn't even text. And you didn't check in on me with me on Wednesday to see if I was dying or not. Here I am
Yeah, no,
alive,
well,
and boy, I look great.
yeah, I saw you tweeted out on Wednesday, so I was like, okay. And I will say your doctors did a great job getting rid of that, liver issue you had that made you so yellow. So
Right.
it's good. I'm glad you're on the mend and you look healthy again. Cheers to you.
I'm back. And look, I think we don't have the same cup, same coffee cup, same color. We're like all the same today.
This is my favorite coffee cup.
Oh, I got what is it?
It's from Whistler, Canada.
Yeah.
I bought it in Whistler, Canada, one of my favorite places on earth that I'll never be able to go back to. But it's a little picture of the village.
Mm-hmm.
Good golf, pretty scenery.
So you're Shakespeare now, apparently?
Yeah.
I saw your tweet on Monday. And it's
Yeah.
great. You're promoting the show. That's great. But all of a sudden you're Shakespeare now, which is good.
Hey, I just want people to know how well-rounded I am.
If you went down,
maybe I'll throw in some Dickens later.
I have an assignment for you this week. If you have time, you probably don't have time, and you'll probably just say,
sure,
fuck it anyway. But go down the street or just talk to 10 people, not including your family, 10 people and ask them, say, do you like Shakespeare's writings? Could you sit down for a half hour and read Shakespeare? I guarantee you'd go 0 for 10 with all of them saying, no, absolutely not. Why would I waste my time?
Depends where I go. If I go to a town of scholars, maybe a liberal arts college.
I think there's like one person, like a high school teacher in, like, say, Davenport, Iowa, who probably loves Shakespeare. Everybody else outside of that probably just hates it. I mean, when you took Shakespeare when you were in school, did you actually enjoy it, or were you just like, what is this shit that I'm reading on? This makes no sense. What is this shit? How is this good writings? How is this good? Well, listen, if you're Shakespeare now, that's great. I'm all supporting my friends and everything, and I think it's great for you.
Shout out to Shakespeare's Pizza in Columbia, Missouri, which will be packed today. Legendary pizza place in Como.
Why will that be packed today?
Because the softball team's hosting a super regional and they sold out.
Wow.
Everybody's going to Shakespeare's. It's great. It's actually great for that university to have a sellout, have postseason play. They're on fire. Pretty cool.
Well, today our topic talking about college to summer ball, both baseball and softball, girls and guys, they go on to play summer ball. It wasn't really the case where girls would play summer ball years ago. Now it happens to be something that's very prevalent. And congrats, by the way, to Missouri. Before we get to our topic, though, I do want to ask you, there's some upsets in the college baseball world. In the ACC tournament, SEC, I think Alabama upset Tennessee the other day. I mean, it's a good time for college baseball right now in the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
It was right around the corner. And I'm hoping that we have most people in the stands in Omaha come June.
Yeah, it's such a fun time of year. For me, I really enjoy the college game, both baseball and softball. And so you have softball, you have the super regionals going on. Baseball, you have the conference tournaments going on where you get to see teams that you normally don't see, which is cool. Like yesterday, I watched a little bit of the UCLA softball game, and they were playing Virginia Tech. I haven't seen Virginia Tech all year. They were fantastic, and they beat them. So it's pretty cool to be able to see different, depending on your region. I spent a lot of time in Texas, which is SEC country, and then being an ex-Missouri person, then the SEC is kind of what I gravitate to when I watch games. But catching some of the ACC games, Alabama's hot. I will say that Alabama's hot, but Tennessee, that was a weird game. I don't know if you saw it. There was kind of a weird play. Tennessee was about to walk it off. Did you see this? I think it was
I
the
saw a
bottom of the
snippet of the
ninth.
game. I didn't see the end.
Yeah, so it was like a double play ball that Tennessee was up to bat. I think it was maybe first and third with one out, and there was a ground ball, and the guy went to take out the runner at second, and he slid in. The slide was clean. He slid in plenty of time. He slid right at the base, but he had his arm up like this, kind of like this, and he hit the well, I don't know if it was the short. I think it was the shortstop. He hit, or maybe the second baseman. He hit him right in the groin.
Oh,
and the guy made a bad throw. You know, and so the bad throw means they won the game, but then the umpires brought it back and said he interfered with the throw.
Yeah.
Whether or not it was on purpose, no one will know. But Tennessee could have won that game, and then they ended up losing in the next inning. So kind of an interesting tournament. Tennessee's they're fun to watch. They got a lot of energy. They got a lot of attitude. You know, they take on the personality. Their coach is fiery. You know, Vitello's a really fired up guy and gets behind his players. And I'll tell you what, they're playing for him right now. They'll be fun to see as the tournament breaks out here in the next week or so.
Did I say tournament? I meant to say tournament.
You said tournament.
No, I said tournament.
No, it was. You may have said tournament twice. But that's like I'm used to it. I have East Coast friends.
I gotta ask you a question. I'm being serious when I ask that. You mentioned the guy who got hit in the groin, the kid, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did like players wear cups anymore, or is that just a thing of the past?
No, most infielders still do.
Oh, okay. Outfielders don't.
Yeah. On a different note, the jock strap is pretty much non-existent now. Right.
Yeah. That was always very, very uncomfortable.
Where did we get the compression short has taken over the world?
We have to tie up a couple of loose ends from last week's show. I forgot to ask you a question. And plus we also remember last week we left everybody with a cliffhanger on a philosophy. Well, we got to get to that today. We got to finish it. We promised our audience we have to finish. So first thing though, first loose, and really this is the only loose end of the last week's topic, switch hitting. If you missed that episode, go back and listen, of course, in the archives or watch in the archives on YouTube. But the point I wanted to bring up about switch hitting was the approach of a switch hitter. What's the approach like? Is it different from one side to the other based on what kind of hitter you might be from one side to the other? Or does the approach really kind of just stay the same?
No, it changes. You're like a different hitter from that side of the plate. And you could be, you know, more of a contact guy. You could be more of a power guy. But most importantly, the pitches are different. You know, if you're facing, we'll say you're hitting left-handed, you're facing a right-handed pitcher, you know, is that pitcher throwing soft stuff away or is he going to bury breaking balls in, right? And that thing is really breaking away from you as a switch hitter. You know, breaking balls are breaking into you. They're breaking down and into you. That's how they're fooling you, or early in the count, they're just going to pop them kind of right down the middle or back door just to kind of get a free strike. So I definitely think you have a different kind of approach from both sides of the plate, depending on what you are. You know, if you're facing a left-handed pitcher, and that approach changes to the pitcher too. Maybe you have a soft throwing left-hander and you're hitting right-handed, and you're just, especially at the college level, right? You're thinking the other way. You're thinking, you know, off speed, a lot of change-ups I'm probably going to get from this guy as an out pitch versus, meaning if he has a 12-6, he's probably not going to bury those. If he has a hard slider, he might bury those, but so it has to do, your approach has to constantly change with pitchers, how you're feeling at the plate, and, you know, what kind of stuff they have that day.
All right. So now let's get to our cliffhanger from last week as well. I have it written down here. Your philosophy and practices for a major league team and an organization that you would implement throughout the minor league organization. As much as you want to tell me, although we did discuss this on a previous episode, way back in the archives. You'll have to, I guess people will have to try to find it and listen to like every episode until they find it. But seriously though, your philosophy and practices throughout an organization. And you touched on it a little bit last week, but let's tie it up this week.
Yeah, it's still individual to the player and what that player needs to do for the most part. For instance, I had a college player that I traded the other day, and he was probably the epitome of baseball now. You know, he was a kid I worked with here at high school, and he was an All-American in high school. Played in a smaller high school, but you know, here in a big town, and Hit 15 home runs in like 18 games. I mean, it was just incredible, right? And then goes to college, and it kind of gets squirrely, you know, his freshman year at this college. And he's like, yeah, I'm just not very consistent on this. So anyway, he's dumping the barrel. And then he's rolling over to the pull side. So after about 30 minutes, we figured out how to fix it. We played pepper. We played really hard pepper. I was throwing to him, and he was just trying to play pepper. And all of a sudden, his bat angles were golden. And it looked kind of funny because I told him, I want you to amp up the pepper a little bit. And all of a sudden, his bat speed was like, and it felt like he was hardly hitting, is what he said. But his bat speed was like 71. And his max bat speed when he was swinging as hard as he could was like 74 that day. And he's like, yeah, that's the difference of, what I say, 71, 71. So the difference of like 3 miles an hour. So it's 0.5%. So he felt like he was swinging about 65%, yet his bat speed came out as only 0.5% less. Okay. That's I'm sorry, 5% less, not 0.5%. But that is that was what we did. We played pepper, and all of a sudden he controlled it. So it would have to do with what each person needs, but I would definitely have a lot of machine work, maybe not at 60 feet, 6 inches, maybe at 45 feet, where it's accurate and it's throwing the ball on a flatter trajectory. And we're working on staying on top, and then we work regular BP. But then when I say, look, we're facing a guy that's doing this, how are we getting beat today, guys? Okay, remember that feel we had, remember that thought process we had when we were hitting off that really flat pitch. That's where I want you to go back. And that's the key to hitting is not only making adjustments, but knowing how to make adjustments. You can't just tell a player, hey, stay on top here. I see it all the time in softball, because all of a sudden they'll face a girl with a good rise ball, and the players can't make the adjustment. I mean, there's scouting reports. Like, everybody knows she's going to throw 3 out of 4 pitches are going to spin up, which means they're not dropping, right? Which means if you dump your barrel, you're toast. And they can't make that adjustment because they haven't been taught the right way to make that adjustment. And you can do that as a hitter, college, professional, amateur. Hey, I need you to swing down on this. I need you to swing up on this. I need you to hit it to right field. I need you to hit it to left field. If you train players to be hitters, and sometimes hard pepper is the way to do it,
right?
All of a sudden they can do whatever you want to do. And that's the key for me is I want guys or girls that can adjust their swing. They have adjustable swings. If I say swing, make your attack angle at 0, they can swing totally level and hit a ball. If I say make your attack angle at 10, they can swing up and do that. When I have players that are in control of their swing, then I know that they can have a proper approach and they can make adjustments throughout games. And now we got a chance.
There's a great segment on MLB Network. Oh, damn it. Shit, I just dropped my pen. Hold on. Fuck. All right. There's a great segment on MLB Network recently with Billy Ripken, and he was talking with Matt Vasgersian. By the way, I'm sorry. I got to say something. Listen, I like Matt Vasgersian a lot. I think he's a really cool guy, but his home run calls are really starting to get to me a little bit. I like the guy. I do. And I think he's a great broadcaster, but his home run calls are just,
he is good broadcaster.
Just, it's like, oh my God. Okay. I'm down. But he's a great host too.
Yeah, I have.
I'm sorry. I just had to say.
I'm more of a highlight guy now.
You don't watch games anymore? Yes,
I will in the postseason. Like postseason, I watch like every game, every inning.
Yeah, but you're not watching.
Sickness.
You're not watching like games like every night, like a little couple games here. Really interesting.
And sometimes I do. Well, I'm watching more college now, right? Because it's
I'm trying to watch everything. But...
So maybe come July, I might sit down and watch a game, but I don't know.
You find it boring?
Well, when I'm at the lab, when I'm in Texas, like every evening I'm, training from 4 to 10. So
you're actually in it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not. So then the next morning I check the highlights and get caught up. It's kind of how I do it.
Anyway, what I was saying though, Billy Ripken and Matt Vasgersian had a segment recently on MLB Network, and they were talking about, oh, which player was it? Oh, well, they're talking about Tony Gwynn. They were talking about somebody else too, but it was a segment speaking to hitters using their hands and playing pepper. And to your point, if you play pepper, you kind of learn a little bit how to control the barrel and use your hands. That was the point, at least he was trying to make.
Yes. I taught my child, who's our assistant on the show,
He's our
broadcast assistant, our intern. Yeah. Our intern, she plays, we always start off with like pepper. That's how we started to learn how to hit. Pepper and then hard pepper. So anytime we're in like a slump, we're not hitting it. Like we haven't played in 6 months, because it's snowing. We'll always like start, okay, pepper, 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 and then boom, she's locked in.
Yeah.
Pepper's great.
Yeah, I agree. And so that would be, in your opinion, the building of one of the first building blocks. Did you just fist pound our intern? You did, didn't you? That would be one of the first building blocks to a young hitter when they're like 4 or 5 years old. Hey, Dad, I want to play baseball, or I want to play softball. Right. All right, well, let's go outside and play pepper. Right, it's a pretty good approach.
Try to hit this ball back. Use wiffle balls because they don't know their own strength at that age. But just try to hit it right back at me. I'm just gonna lob it in there. It might be high, it might be low. Yeah. Your goal is to try to hit it where I can catch it. And then it becomes fun.
Yeah, wiffle ball bat. I quick little story. I have an uncle, very smart guy, very successful too, but he's my godfather. Very successful. But when I turned 3, he bought me like a wood bat. And I love that thing. I may still have it, but it was really heavy for me. And I remember I couldn't swing it. And I remember I got really dejected and started to hate baseball at 3 and said, I never want to play baseball. I kind of wish I would have followed up on that, but so there's a lesson for you.
You rat-holed it.
Yeah. That should have been, that was the sign right there. Don't play baseball. Have nothing to do with this game.
Yeah. Missed the sign, man. Now look at you.
So there's a lesson for parents out there. Wiffle ball bats first. And my uncle didn't know, and that's okay. And you know what? He knew now with his son, who when he was 3, he had a wiffle ball bat, not a wood bat.
See, he wanted his son to do better.
And for the record, I liked that bat. I love that bat. I remember it was a black Louisville Slugger. I loved it, but it was just too heavy for me. I couldn't swing it.
Right.
And you could make the argument 20 years later, I couldn't swing it either. So, be sure to subscribe to our podcast too. And if you have any questions for us, jimbopodcast21@gmail.com. And of course, on social media at Jim Tara, at Epstein Hitting on Twitter and Instagram. Let's get to our main event, topic today. This is great.
Let it be known, you should make sure that you go to Epstein Hitting on Twitter, because I'm going to post a clip of Aaron Judge that he's hitting a low pitch with 0 barrel dump for a home run. And he hit that home run on Thursday. Last Thursday is when he hit it.
Right.
So I posted something on Twitter before on a high pitch where I said, wow, he really changed his swing, because I knew he was changing his swing because I read an article and an interview about it. Like he was trying to make this is Judge making some adjustments. And so there was a swing where it was a high pitch and he slid the knob forward. So instead of just turning, he actually used his hands and slid the knob forward. He hit a high pitch. Well, somebody wrote in, and then I never respond to people, right, for the most part, unless they're positive. And this guy wrote, oh, well, that's just because it was a high pitch. He didn't change anything. That's how, his hitting coach wants him to hit the high pitch. So I was like, okay, great. I bet on a low pitch, he doesn't do that. Well, sure enough, he's kept it going. And if Judge is like hitting pretty good since he made that adjustment. There's a low pitch. He's taken like the knob down for a long way. There's like 0 of that. Wild.
Yeah.
So I'm going to post it. So make sure you post it and then watch the comments come in. It's always fun.
Should I retweet it and then watch like all these comments fly in about, I kind of want comments to fly in at me just so I can just read them and just, what I'm saying?
I don't care. I don't care what people like I said, dumping the barrel or turning the barrel or whatever different people teach that. I don't do something wrong. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But every player has to have a certain move. Like I told that one kid that was turning the barrel or dumping the barrel too much, I told him to play pepper and swing down. And guess what? It fixed him.
Yeah.
right? Maybe there's a player, I see players that chop down too much, right? So what do I tell them? Hey, man, I need you to pull that knob up. I need you to get that barrel down a little bit more. So it's all in the delivery, but you have to take the results of those players. Like, why are you struggling? Well, if you're struggling because of something that I'm teaching you, I need to teach you something else. And hey, I don't know. So maybe his hitting coach that taught him to, do what he did, which sometimes gets him in trouble. Maybe that guy told him, "Hey, man, you need to swing down more." You're
could have been right. We're not right.
I have no idea.
We're giving credit to whoever did it. Right.
Absolutely kudos.
But
to whoever had to make that change, or maybe it was just him watching video and figuring it out. But it's a way different move. You'll see. I mean, he pulls it up down and forward on a low pitch.
But you were the one who kind of called it out, and it's working.
I saw it. Yeah. I saw. I said, if he makes this change, it's going to help.
Maybe your hitting coach friend who works for the Yankees heard this podcast and then made that adjustment.
Maybe. Or maybe the Yankees have been telling him to do that for quite a while. Yeah. And, or maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. Sorry, everybody.
All I know is what I see, and what I see is different, and I like the difference.
Yeah. We're not like all the cool kids who know on Twitter what's happening with the Yankees and every other organization within baseball. And also,
hey, how about my guy? How about my guy, Vlad Jr., by the way?
Right. How about my guy, Bo Flo?
He doesn't hit 2 home runs every game.
He had the tightest pants on the other day, by the way, in that doubleheader against the Yankees. I was like, what is he doing? What are they doing in tight pants? That's weird. It's just, maybe the girls like
that. Makes me think you're like Clemson baseball. That makes me think of Clemson baseball. The long, white, tight pants.
I was going to say something about Judge, but you cut me off, so I guess I forgot.
And Jimmy Fallon, I got my tight pants on.
What was I going to say about Judge? It's bothering me. I was going to say one more thing about
saying something about the Yankees. Everybody has an opinion because the Yankees. You said tight pants. That threw me off. Who had tight pants, Bo or Vlad?
Bo. I think Vlad tried, but it didn't work out for him.
Yeah, Bo would be a better tight pants guy, I think, than Vlad. That'd be like me in tight pants and you in tight pants. Like, know what you're good at. Know your role.
Know your role. That's right. I wonder what the girls would like to see more: me in tight pants or you in tight pants.
It depends. If they're trying to purge something they ate, then they would probably want to see me in tight pants.
For the record, I never wear tight pants. I never wear pants. I live in Florida, so.
Yeah, you just walk around nude all the time. That's good luck.
Or my underwear, or just shorts, like a normal
compression shorts. Yeah, you're a biker shorts.
No, I don't wear compression shorts. I don't find the need to. Well, I do sometimes at the gym, but it gets a little uncomfortable when I'm squatting. I was gonna say something. It's killing me. That's why we were stalling there. I had something and I just forgot. Thanks a lot.
Get it?
No, I forgot it.
Okay. All right.
Oh, I know what I was going to say. I know it. No, it came back to me now. Sorry. We can't move on to the main event topic yet because it came back to me. Aaron Judge is carrying the Yankees right now. So whoever's helping him, whoever that may be, I'm not saying it's this person or this person or this person or,
or maybe it's Aaron Judge.
Or maybe it's just him, maybe it's Jake Epstein. Who knows? Just kidding.
No, it's definitely not that. I'll be honest.
Just kidding. It should be, but it's not.
It should be. I'm sure he's a podcast listener and he follows my, Twitter.
We have listeners in New York, for the record. I've seen that in the catalog.
I'm sure it's him. Yeah.
Well, whoever's helping him, it's actually working. He's carrying the Yankees right now. I don't know if you know this, but I heard this when I was listening to the Yankee radio broadcast the other day. John and Susan, right? And they were, chuckling.
About those home run calls.
I mean, those two are they're both in their 80s and 70s. It's pretty crazy. And hear these two talking about baseball. It's to be admired, really.
Yeah,
really
it is.
Susan was saying how the Yankees, she's good at her job, by the way. I just want to be clear about that. She really is good at her job. There's a lot of people who aren't. She is. Like her partner. No. I'm just kidding. Everybody. Here comes the Judge. So
all right, Judge and blast.
So Susan was mentioning how Mike Tauchman is now on the San Francisco Giants, and this is amazing. As of last Thursday, Mike Tauchman still leads the Yankees in RBIs. And he hasn't been on the Yankees for a month. It's crazy.
That's crazy.
You know, when I was a kid, and let me parlay this into something. I'm going to be a little serious now. When I was a kid, in 2000, I was watching the Phillies. I was watching the Yankees. My dad was a Yankee fan, so whatever. I wasn't a Phillies fan either, but I was just watching the Phillies every night. And I remember they introduced the starting lineup in 2000. And I remember looking at the lineup. Nobody was hitting over 300. And I got so upset. I was like, why isn't anybody hitting over 300? Because that was the plateau that you had to hit to be considered an above average hitter. Well, I'm looking at lineups now that are being introduced with the batting averages 20 years later, and I'm looking at the StatCast and the MLB app with the lineups and the GameCast and whatever. And I'm like thinking to myself, why isn't I caught myself doing this? Why isn't anybody hitting over 200? And there's a lot of people hitting under 200 right now. It's infuriating. And you say to yourself, what happened? Where did it all go wrong?
Yeah. Well, we've had a lot that happened over the last week. I don't think we have enough time to get into it, but you know, the substances, you know, what's his name? I don't know.
Mike Shell
guy got but they get the hat controversy, and then it all came out about the sunscreen, and everybody knows, you know, the sunscreen and the high spin rates, and why do you think guys, you know, balls are doing weird, crazy stuff when they're thrown, and the game's getting kind of weird. You know, it's getting a little squirrely, but you're right about, you know, hitting is, I was looking at a box score this morning between two teams. I was like, oh, look at that. These guys had a good, day. Yeah. Right. Like they won, they had 9 hits. All right, man. They had 9 hits, and then they had 9 hits and 36 times up. Right. So that's 250 average. And that was a good day. The other team only had 6 hits and 37.
Check your math.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm checking your math.
9 divided by 36.
250. Good job.
250. Okay. I'm pretty decent with math and averages, but I appreciate you looking into that. Notice I didn't do the 5 for 37 because I don't know what that one is. But it's probably in the 220 range would be my guess.
135.
So, 135.
You know, Josh Donaldson tweeted recently about pitchers, and he talked about how I have it all on video now, and I'm gonna reveal it. It's like, I guess we're all gonna tattle on each other now. But he is right with hitters, and I see this perspective. There needs to be, if you're gonna cheat or try to get away with certain things, there needs to be a certain plateau where it just stops, where you say, okay, enough's enough. That's it. Right. And how do we fix that? Rob Manfred, balls in your court there, fella. Another thing that you have to fix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking I don't know what the difference is between the sunscreen and the rosin, which apparently gives people better control, and then something like pine tar. So I don't know what the difference is in those, you know, why one is better than the other in terms of, okay, it's okay to have the rosin sunscreen. Yeah. But the pine tar, you know, I figured both of them, if it creates friction, then that ball's going to spin a little bit more. But anyway, whatever it is, they need to figure it out, whether it's inspect a glove or, you know, a hat, you know, when the guy takes the mound. But what about the catcher? Right? The catcher could have something. Third baseman could have something, you know, they throw it around the infield. But it's not as obvious. They go through so many balls that it's got to be the pitcher that, you know.
I never knew they used sunscreen. I never knew that was a substance. I always knew pine tar.
No, the sunscreen, a couple of years ago, there was, you have to look this up on. It's really quite humorous. I'm sure it's on Instagram or Twitter or something, but it's in Oakland Alameda, the Oakland Coliseum, the night game. And the reliever's about to come in, and he's spraying his left arm with sunscreen. Yeah. It's a night game.
Right.
Like completely dark. Yeah. And he's putting sunscreen on, and then you see him. I don't know if you see him patting the rosin on there, but he's sitting there spraying, then he runs into the game.
Yeah. Well, who was it a few years ago? Was it Pineda for the Yankees in Boston, when he got ejected because he had something on a substance on his neck, and it was just so obvious that the umpire said, "All right, well, you can't hide it better." I think it was 2018 when that happened. Speaking of Rob Manfred, I think, in my opinion, and some people, I mean, there's a lot of people that don't like him, and I'm sure they'll make this known on Twitter if they watch this show or whatever. Please leave your comments. Well, I don't mind. We really don't care. I mean, I might not read them, or I might not give them the time of day, but hey, you can leave your comments.
We'll read them.
I think Rob Manfred did a nice job in kind of restructuring, and a lot of people will disagree with this because people lost jobs throughout minor league baseball, but restructuring how minor league baseball is shaped, and with the collegiate summer leagues now, with the new summer leagues where players can go play prior to the draft. And I mean, we've pulled up a graphic here about all the summer leagues, which ones are the top ones in baseball and softball, or at least considered top ones. I'd still think, though, the Cape Cod League is going to be the one that thrives the most because that has the most history. And it's where the best players have gone throughout college baseball for so many years.
I think so. Yeah, I think it's always going to be the Cape Cod League.
Yeah.
You have guys that are super special, right? That are going to be first rounders. So, they have these the MLB's trying to launch like a new workout, essentially so most teams right now, they have prospect, workouts where they'll bring in 4 or 5 guys at a time to their stadium. So say it's, whatever, say it's the Blue Jays, they'll bring in 4 or 5 guys they're interested in the first couple rounds. Then they'll do, it's called a pre-draft workout, right? They'll do a pre-draft workout. It's only whatever team it is, watching these players, doing some tests, and then they leave, and those players will probably go to Milwaukee or they'll go to San Diego and do the same thing, right? So, but now Major League Baseball is trying to have like a uniform combine, right? Did you read about that? They want to have a combine like the NFL, where they go and they test everybody on, they sit down and have conversations with them. They'll do a psychological test. They'll do vision tests. They'll do, their 60 times. They'll do their vertical jump. They'll do the different matrix things. And none of the first rounders want to do it.
I wonder why that is.
Because it could only hurt them. They're already going to be a first rounder. So you're only going to get people that are like 5th, 6th, 7th, 5th through 10th rounders or something that are like, oh, I'll go to this. Maybe it'll help me be seen because I'm a little bit faster or my metrics are a little bit better. But the dudes that are, going to be the top 20 position players and pitchers, they're not going to go to that because it's only going to, they already locked in, right?
But isn't that a telltale sign though for organizations? Doesn't that kind of raise red flags? If you don't want to go, well, why not? And that would for me. Maybe I'm just too simple, but I think wouldn't you want to show off your talents?
I think they're still
as much as
seeing them. I think they're still seeing those players at a pre-draft workout, but I don't think they're going to do the cattle call thing. None of the agents are letting the guys do that.
Yeah, I don't.
Or at least they're not letting the top guys do that. So then it's like, well, what is this thing? It's a showcase for Major League Baseball. That's what we need. That's what's ruined a lot of the college game is, oh, look at this guy. He performs really well on a video or on a radar or on a metric sheet.
Yeah.
But what does he not have? Instincts.
Right.
What does he not have? Grittiness during his at bat.
Yeah.
In competition. That's where I want to see people. Maybe when they're fooled, do they still find a barrel? Maybe on a 2-0 count, they're aggressive. Okay, I like that. But maybe when the count's 2-2, they're fighting and they're scrapping, and all of a sudden, boom, they're fooled, but they're still on plane and they shoot a ball in the hole somewhere. I'm like, that's a competitor. You don't see that in those things.
Yeah, no, you don't. And the NFL Combine, it's a lot different from what a Major League Baseball Combine would be, because with baseball, it's a skill sport. We talked about that last week when it came to switch hitting and playing hockey and whatnot. Well, with football, that's basically testing what kind of athlete you are, that combine. And Jake's going to take a piss, everybody. I'm just kidding. He's not. He's just fixing something. But that's really what the NFL Combine is. It's for athletes to show off that type of athleticism. And there's certain skills involved, but with baseball and a certain baseball combine, that really wouldn't be the case, because baseball to me is a skill sport. Now, notwithstanding, staying with the topic and talking about
Sorry,
summer
Jim,
leagues,
I'm
and sure that you have
having a rough time here.
Ep's having a rough time. So
Okay, I'm back.
I'll just
Can you
keep
hear me?
talking. Yeah, I can hear you. We're not editing this out. We don't edit here, people. Okay.
We're back.
We
We're
do
back.
the show and we post it. We don't edit like other people.
Yeah, the AirPods, they just don't have the longevity.
Yeah, they don't. They
That's
stink.
my biggest fear.
No, I'm kidding. That's why you gotta get Beats, everybody.
Yeah.
Beats are where they're at, not the AirPods. Oh, look at me. I have AirPods. I'm just kidding.
4 or 5 years. Actually, that was the best part of the episode because I couldn't hear anything you were saying for like, 20, 30 seconds.
So, summer leagues. I want to hear your stories from when you because summer leagues to me now it's Memorial Day and we're actually this episode we're doing this on Memorial Day. Go figure, right? So a lot of kids are now, and baseball, softball, a lot of kids now are starting to come together and are starting to play with their summer teams. And I guess because I didn't play any really good summer leagues, it was a time where, we just want to play and get our reps in, but we're not trying to really win much. There's a lot of leagues out there that are trying to win.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to hear your stories from when you played, because I'm sure you were in one of those leagues where you actually tried to win a championship over the summer. So what are any cool stories you had from your playing days when you played summer ball in college?
Yeah, I had three places. I played in the Valley League, which was a big ACC league, actually. Mm-hmm. Like I played with Aubrey Huff. There were a bunch of Miami guys and Virginia guys. I played in the Valley League, a place called Stanton, Virginia, a real small town. So much fun. Fans got behind it. The best part about that was like in the second inning, the sun would set in left center and we'd have to pause for like 5 minutes for the sun to set because the catcher and the umpire and the hitter couldn't see.
Yeah.
So you got to love the small town stuff. I played in the Jayhawk League in a place called Nevada, spelled like Nevada, but Nevada, Missouri. That was pretty competitive league too, because you're trying to go to the NBC World Series, which is kind of that big summer ball World Series at the end of the year. You get teams from Alaska that come in, kind of all over the country. And then I played a local league in San Diego one summer. I just went home, and that one was just playing reps, and you lived at home and you had a job and whatever. So summer ball is the best because you get to meet new people, you get new teammates. That's the best part about baseball is different teammates. Yeah. Whether it's you go away to school, you meet different people from all over the country, then you go to summer ball and you meet another group of 20, 25 guys that are different experiences. So I mean the one thing I remember, Nevada, I broke my foot there, but before that happened, there was a thunderstorm that rolled through during pregame, and it was so bad that the shell, the BP shell, ended up in center field. Like it blew. So we all huddled into this small dugout, concrete dugout. And then the other team did the same thing. Well, so this thing blows. I mean, we thought we were all dead, right? So the backstop or whatever, the turtle flies out to center field, 200 feet.
You thought you were in a tornado.
Yeah, we thought there was tornadoes coming. So we're all kind of huddled in the corner of the cinder block dugout. And then on the other side, we see, the other team's there too, right? So they're in their dugout and a power line breaks. And the power line is hitting the water that's pooled in front of their dugout. Like they were like caged animals. They couldn't get out. The water was probably all electrified. Anyway, that was summer ball. And then we played like 40 minutes later.
How'd you move the power line?
They had to call like the power company to come shut things off and whatever. Yeah, we ended up playing that day.
Wow. Yeah, amazing. Yeah. And how'd they turn on the lights then if they had no power?
Well, they got it all back on. It was in the
40
afternoon.
Minutes. Wow. Oh, yeah, it was in the afternoon.
It was in the afternoon. So it was probably. I mean, we were probably taking BP at 5 o'clock. So days are long at that time. So yeah, they got the power shut off. They got the field cleaned up. We started the game, and then I guess they got the power back on to do the lights. But holy cow, wild! And then driving in that league, because you're out in the plains of like Kansas,
right?
And so you're coming home on a school bus, right? A 4-hour ride on a school bus, and it's completely dark. It's 11 o'clock at night, midnight, whatever. We're leaving a place and heading back home, and you just see lightning bolts. It's totally dark, and then it's like lightning bolts, and you have no idea what's out there. Is there a tornado out there waiting for us?
Yeah. Who'd you stay with? Host family?
Yeah, host family in both those places. It was really cool. My first year host family, when I was at Mizzou, he was great. He was the PA at the UVA, University of Virginia, Charlottesville, the football games.
Okay.
And so he was a big sport guy. So he took us over to Virginia, and we got all kinds of tours and got to see the campus. And he was an amazing guy. In Missouri, in Nevada, I stayed with a guy who was like I think he was a vet. He had all kinds of weird animals on his property. So there were like 5 of us on this ranch. I'll never forget driving up the first night, and I got greeted by a goat.
Yeah.
Goats are creepy, right? Goats are kind of devilish. And you drive in, your lights shine on them, their eyes glow, and they got horns.
Yeah.
They got beards. Scarred me for life.
I'm sure
And then
this looks like it.
Yeah, it was really, really bad. And so he was a good dude. My roommate there, actually, I saw him on TV last night. His wife is Beth Torina, who's the LSU softball coach. So Nick's a good guy. We roomed together, and I actually ran into him at a convention in Italy. Figure that out. Hadn't seen the guy in like 15 years.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we're sitting across the table in Italy, like at a baseball softball convention. I'm like, I know that guy.
Yeah.
I know that little Italian guy.
In Italy.
Jim Taraboca in Italy. Yeah, Bologna, Italy.
Did you I've never been to Italy. I do want to go. Did you get pizza? Did you get the gelato? What'd you get?
I've been to Italy a couple times and had both of those things all the time.
Are they good?
They're great.
What's the pizza taste like?
The pizza's actually the pizza's like okay.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Very simple. Very simple. Just flat and kind of crispy, but we didn't eat a lot of pizza. Now the pasta.
You're good. What's the gelato taste like? What's the texture?
It's just like creamy butter in your mouth.
Oh, so it's not like ice cream. It's not really.
No, it's so soft, right? Everything's kind of warm in the summer. It's kind of hot there, but we went to a gelato place a guy took us to in, was it Via Reggio? Is that the name of the town? Via Reggio is like where they make all the yachts, like for the world. So you see all these giant like yacht maker, places on the water there. And anyway, it was the best gelato I've ever had.
What when you're in summer ball, I mean, what do you consider? See, there's the thing too, and this is where there's a drawback now to these summer leagues being added, because there's going to be people and staff that actually tarp the field, that roll out the turtle and do all that stuff, where the college kids, when you play in these high-end summer leagues, they would do that. We would do that. I mean, that was part of the experience. It's not going to be part of the experience anymore. But what do you think still are the top summer leagues that players could go to? Because you shouldn't get dejected, obviously, if you don't get to the Cape Cod League, if you don't get to.
I never got to the Cape Cod League.
Yeah, I mean, it's a crapshoot. I mean, so what are the best summer leagues you think that still exist out there for both? By the way, for both baseball and softball, where players can get their reps and get better.
Number one, you got to, softball, it's new. And I think there's one in Florida. I don't know. I'm going to find out more about
Florida Collegiate Summer League. I had a career stop there. Yes.
Okay.
Go figure.
So, I think obviously the Cape is still good. There is a New England Collegiate League.
Yeah.
I
the
believe
NECBL.
as well. Yeah. There's one on Long Island, which is supposed to be fantastic. Because you're so far out in Long Island that it's not New York anymore. It's like farms and dairies.
Wow.
And I had a player that played at Vanderbilt and said it was so great playing in that league. I didn't even know they had a league out there.
I didn't know either.
The Jayhawks still there because it's going to be a little bit more competitive because they're going for the NBC, that big World Series.
Yeah.
There's the California. California has a couple, but there's the big one which has like the Foresters, Santa Barbara Foresters, the San Luis Obispo Blues. They kind of go up and down the coast. It's like more central, north of LA, most of the teams. That's a really good team or a really good league. And then they end up going to the NBC World Series. Alaska used to be great. I don't know if it still is, but anybody who was anybody as a college coach used to coach in Alaska in the summer. Like I think Skip Berkman probably coached in the summer. Like all the West Coast schools for sure, they used to coach a team. In Alaska was a really good summer league. Then there's one in the Texas one. There's probably like 4 in Texas now or 5, but one of the ones in Texas is a really good one, which is a grind, man. It's hot in Texas, but their facilities are really good. I mean, we played in small towns with city parks. Like they weren't stadiums. They weren't
Right.
Independent stadiums or minor league stadiums that we showed. It was a city park, and the people would roll out to it, and it was so cool and so relaxed. It was like you were playing American Legion ball with really good players.
Yeah.
Is what it felt like in these small towns. And I think when you get to larger towns, and I don't think it's as fun. I think that's part of it is, you're going to work out at, whatever, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in this nasty gym with a bunch of guys that are sharing this, and a nasty gym because you just came from an SEC, ACC, Pac-12, Big 12 school with, buku weight rooms, and all of a sudden it's like, all right, let's throw some weight around and get ready. And you go to the ballpark and you're doing your own laundry at home, at your host families. You're living in a basement somewhere. If you're in Alaska, you're living in a basement with, like foil over the windows because it never gets dark and you can't figure out how to sleep.
Yeah.
I think summer ball is all about experience. And I had a guy, I remember I came out of Missouri freshman year and I got hurt. I sprained my ankle, so I missed the whole second half of the season. So I roll into summer ball in Virginia, and I was like, I'm still taping my ankle, but I'm cleared to play. And I don't know what happened, but our coach is like some high school coach from Florida. His name, can't really say it. His last name was Bocock. Yeah, and he was a high school coach. Anyway, memories. But he, he was kind of like, is this guy really coaching us? What are we doing? So I don't know what happened, but I'm like over 3, and he comes up and he's like, Jake, you got a really good arm. I was a catcher, you have a really good arm. You should, and I was tall. He's like, you should really pitch. I think I'm going to pitch you this summer. And I was like, did you ask my college coach about that? Like,
Yeah.
He's like, I don't think you'll be a very good hitter, but I think you should pitch. And I'm like, oh, okay. So that night I went I threw a guy out, and I think I went 2 for 2 or 2 for 3 or something like that.
Yeah.
And then he came up and he's like, I think you should catch.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? But that's what it is. It's like you just have guys that have, they're just out there having fun, but they are trying to win. Yet the players are like, dude, just play me a couple times a week.
Yeah.
Let me get some at bats. Let me get better. The pressure's off. I'm going to get ground balls every day. I'm going to get bigger and stronger. And I think that's what summer ball is really all about.
Yeah. How do you go about, for baseball and softball players, how do you go about finding a league? I know coaches do it, but sometimes they don't. Sometimes you have to do it on your own. So how do you go about finding the right league for you?
Typically, I would say your coach is going to help you because your coach has connections with different leagues.
Yeah.
And they're going to find a place where you can play. So maybe you're an SEC player that's a starter, and they're like, okay, they can plug you into one of the bigger teams. Like you can go to the Cape and you'll play. Yeah. But maybe you're a freshman or sophomore, and if they try to send you to the Cape because they know somebody or a buddy, you're just not going to play.
Right.
So they're going to say, okay, let's go to a smaller, the Northwoods. Actually, the Northwoods League is really good too. That's in the kind of Minnesota, Ohio region.
Right.
Actually, those regions aren't near each other, are they?
No.
So it's not Minnesota. I think the Northwoods is more Ohio.
Right. Yeah.
The Ohio Valley.
Yeah, I don't think it's Northwoods is more Ohio. It's more the
Midwest. Yeah.
Grand Valley area.
Yeah. Okay. But that's a good league. But maybe that's something else. And then if you're kind of a guy that nobody cares about, which happens.
Yeah.
Right. You got a roster of 35 guys. You got maybe 60 guys total. 15 of them are, or 25 of them are red shirting or gray shirting or not sure what the heck's going on. Those guys are going to be left to their own. And that's when you just find a local league. Typically you go home and you find, there's a local college, like Colorado has a local college league.
Yeah.
For guys to play. There's teams in Boulder and kind of the north side of the city and down to Pueblo. And it's like, okay, I can get on a team and play.
Yeah.
The one I played in San Diego my last year was just kind of for fun. I just wanted to chill out and be home. And it was just made up of guys from Southern California and that played college baseball, smaller schools.
There's a league also in Hawaii, if I'm not mistaken, too.
Maybe that'd be a tough one.
I think there's
travel would be tough.
Yeah. But I think there is a league in Hawaii.
So you got to have at least 4 teams. You got to have 100 college players. right? To field
Right.
a few teams. But yeah, there's always a place now that, you might not be facing 90, but who cares? You're getting at bats.
Yeah. Yeah. What's your approach in summer ball offensively? I mean, because the intensity level drops a little bit. You
Oh,
come off
big time.
college and then all of a sudden it drops off to just kind of getting your reps, having fun. You want to win, of course, if you're a competitor,
Yeah.
but it's not the end all be all. You still want to kind of do well, have fun, everything you mentioned there. What is your
Yeah.
approach?
Probably, you're a little more selfish,
Right.
meaning there's a runner on second with nobody out. I'm not going to go 100% hitting the ground ball to the right side. Maybe I'm trying to go right center in the gap and hit a double, something like that. But I'm just trying to. I'm still having my same approach. Like, what am I good at? Or what is this pitcher good at? How do I feel right now? I still have a plan. I'm still treating every at bat like it might be an SEC at bat, but I don't have that external pressure of your coaches and fans breathing down your neck. So it's still what you do to make a living, right? To be successful. There's still 100% pride involved in every at bat that you have. It's just, you're not worried about the situation. Oh,
Right.
we're down 2 runs. Oh, we're up 10 runs. I'm just worried about finding a barrel, hitting a ball hard somewhere, and hopefully I get on base. And quite honestly, it's very similar to what minor league baseball, is about too, especially at the lower levels. It's about getting better. It's about every at bat having a chance to prove yourself to be good, and not necessarily having the pressure of a coaching staff that might get fired if you don't perform, or fans that are all over you. It's just it's a neat dynamic.
Yeah. But at the same time, though, you still want to work on things because there's a chance that you're going into your junior year and you may be a draft eligible prospect. So that's
Right.
also weighing on your mind too, correct?
It could be, yeah. I mean, if you're in the Cape, there's definitely a lot more pressure than if you're in the Mink League or something like that, because there are a lot of scouts there, and there's video everywhere. I get a lot of video when I do my draft consulting or my draft list for the major league team. It's a lot of it comes from the Cape, or Team USA highlights. So there's definitely pressure, in certain areas for guys that are looking, to get drafted soon. But for the other 90% of the leagues that are out there, 95% of the leagues out there, it's about you getting better and getting reps. And maybe it's a swing change. Maybe I'm going to work on a different rhythm this summer. I'm going to incorporate a little bit of a leg kick, or I'm going to try to hit more balls to the opposite field, or maybe I need to pull more balls, or maybe I'm trying to hit more home runs, and it works or it doesn't work. But that's your testing ground, because unfortunately you get into fall ball in college, and fall ball is sometimes more stressful than the season because you're trying to prove yourself with, I mean, in some cases, 4 other people playing your position.
Yeah.
And holy cow, that is pressure each at bat. And so, you want to be kind of ready to go for fall ball before fall ball, because your roster was pretty much set. I mean, you probably, up until maybe 10 or 12 years ago, you went into your college fall and there may have been, I don't know, 6 or 7 guys, maybe 10 at the most, that wouldn't travel, right? Now you have like 30 extra guys there. And not only will they not travel, but they won't even practice with you coming out of the fall, because they'll like, gray shirt versus red shirt. Yeah. They're not even on the 35-man roster. So, they're kind of hanging out, and you could be one of them. So there is a lot more pressure in college falls now than there ever was before.
I played with a couple of guys who didn't even play college summer ball. Do you recommend that? Is that something after a long grind that really, because the season's like 9 months from the fall to the, whatever, the end of May. Do you recommend doing something like that? Just not playing at all, just giving yourself a break? Or does it really depend on where you are as a player, physically, mentally, where you are in your grade status, freshman, sophomore, whatever? Is that something that you would recommend at all? Just not playing, shutting it down for a few months?
Yeah. You're really good at what you do, Jim.
How do you figure?
It's just a good question. It's a good question. It's a good.
I thought it was pretty obvious.
No, but it was good. Like, you were on it. Like, you were waiting.
What does the intern and your wife think, who are sitting
They're
right
gone.
next to
You already put them to sleep.
Oh.
They were. Oh, maybe I did. Yeah. The question was, absolutely. So sometimes you have a bad year and you want to go to summer ball just to get away and like get away from your coach and your hitting coach and your parents, right? Everybody that's breathing down your neck.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's like, you know what? You're banged up. Dude, go sit on a beach and work on your tan. I'm totally down with that. If I have players that they got, 200 at bats this year and they're a little banged up, and hey, just go have some U time. Take a summer class, get fit, get healed up, get stronger, whatever. But you don't need to throw anymore. Your arm was cashed at the end. Maybe you're a shortstop, maybe you're a third baseman or whatever, and you're hurt, right? You need to heal. You need 2 months to heal. Definitely do that. Pitchers, I don't know. I think
I was going to say with pitchers,
I don't even know how they have summer ball pitchers. Like, I don't know how they have guys, but I guess there's guys that just don't play, right? Like if you don't get very many innings, right? I mean, Vanderbilt probably in Arkansas, their bullpens are, good. So you probably have 6 guys in each of those bullpens that didn't get very many innings. Right. So those guys will go out and try to prove themselves. But, the main dudes, they're not. They're not going to go out and put any more mileage on those arms.
Yeah, unless it's the Cape or a top.
Unless it's the Cape, and they do a really good job of, you will throw 2 innings today.
Right.
And you'll throw 2 innings next week.
Mm-hmm. Which, and I want to give a plug to the Florida Collegiate Summer League too, where I had a career stop, both as an intern and as a full-time employee. They do a nice job of that as well. And they have nice facilities too, based in the Orlando area. By the way, I got to tell you, today I was, for whatever reason, I look jacked in this shirt. And usually I look like a pencil neck geek. And I'm like, why do I look so skinny? But now today I look, I look fit.
You're all pumped up.
Buff. I didn't work out or anything. I look good. I look pretty good today.
Yeah, but I saw you doing push-ups before we started.
That's a lie. You didn't see it. You're too busy with your AirPods.
Maybe I.
Okay,
I had a
too
buddy.
busy.
I know Mark's not listening, but good buddy I grew up with.
Well, why isn't he listening?
He has no kids and he doesn't play baseball.
No, whatever.
Yeah. But anyway, Mark when we used to go to the beach in San Diego. Mm-hmm. Like we would get there, we would park, and then the blacktop right before we hit the beach, walking, he would just sit there and bust out like 50 push-ups. He'd take off his shirt, bust out 50 push-ups. So he was all like swole up a little bit.
It's a little weird.
While we got there. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you, it's a little weird. Little weird to me. Maybe I don't
very
know.
Jersey Shore.
A little.
But if you knew him, he was like a comedian and he was really skinny. So that's why
is he now a comedian?
He should be a comedian.
What does he do now?
I don't know.
Give his business a plug.
Yeah. He I think he's in the some kind of contracting business.
Cool.
Yeah, like a contractor.
Well, if you're listening, Mark.
But he might be a contractor hitman.
Yeah. I hope.
I wouldn't have thrown out his real name. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he works for the mob or something. Let's get to our listener question. This one comes to us.
JJ.
Yeah, how do you know? How'd you know?
Because he writes in questions every week. Is it really JJ?
It is JJ. No, I swear to God, it's JJ. This listener question comes to us from JJ from Plymouth Rock, Pennsylvania. Good guess by you.
What was the great whatever, remember Johnny Carson used to do, and he put this to his head?
I don't know. That's before my time, brother.
Wait, I know.
I'm not that old, brother.
Yeah.
You're not either, so I don't know why you're.
No, but I remember the great. Somebody will write in about the great something. It was like the Swami. You remember the Swami is in Chris Bourbon's Swami. This was kind of like the same thing.
I don't remember that. It's, again, for my time.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So here's the question from JJ from Plymouth Rock, Pennsylvania. He writes, sent to us via jimbopodcast21@gmail.com. He writes, Jim and Jake, last podcast, Jake called out Tony La Russa for criticizing Yerwin Mercedes swinging at a 3-0 pitch from a position player in a blowout, hitting a home run. Jake said that La Russa's comments to the media wouldn't sit well with his players. Remember when La Russa was managing the National League All-Star team and he didn't play Albert Pujols? I forgot the year, but Pujols got pissed off. JJ, watch your language. Just kidding. And went on a tear for the second half of the season. That might have been an MVP season for him. And I mean, but when Pujols was at his prime with the Cardinals, early 2000s, every season was like a MVP year for him. Yeah. Anyway, JJ's not sure. That's okay. Anyway, maybe this is a long question, by the way. It's more that's okay. Anyway, maybe La Russa was trying to do that with Mercedes, though Mercedes could not hit much better than he is at the time. I mean, for a rookie who has a hamburger, I did read this before, who has a hamburger named, does he have a hamburger named after him? He does. For a rookie who has a hamburger named after him and looks like he has been sampling too much of the product, maybe he needs to be called out. JJ. This is pretty funny. All right, here's the questions. JJ should be a guest.
I think JJ's a Red Sox fan, so he doesn't like any other Sox.
Okay, he's trying to audition for like a co-hosting gig here, giving us his.
Yeah, we might need to add another screen to this.
Yeah, he's giving us his soliloquy. So the question here it is: when does a manager kick someone's butt? And when does he pat someone on the back? Are all standards lost in the quote unquote, let the boys play era? It seems that we just go from one extreme to another. Don't violate the game's unwritten rules versus let the boys play. Can't do both. Also, shouldn't team leaders like Tim Anderson or Jose Abreu have done what La Russa did? Great podcast, keep up the great work. And that is from JJ from Plymouth Rock, Pennsylvania. Thank you, JJ, for the question. And by the way, he emailed in the subject line, it said, let the boys play with a Z at the end of boys. JJ's clever, from Plymouth Rock, Pennsylvania.
I love Plymouth Rock.
Do you? I don't think you do. I don't think you
care.
No,
I want to go see Plymouth Rock. Isn't that where the settlers came in?
We're doing this again, aren't we?
Mayflower.
Do you remember what the question is, or should I read it again?
Yeah, no, I got the question. So I get it. Maybe La Russa being the evil genius that because he is a genius. Maybe that was his way to prove a point or to build, which is fine, but you don't do it in the press. So that was my issue. My issue is that he did it in the press instead of doing it in the clubhouse. That's kind of the difference.
That was our issue last week, right?
Yeah, like you can chew his ass as much as you want. You can fine him, right? You can take away at bats. Well, you won't do that because he's productive. But you can you can fine the shit out of him for doing something stupid.
Yeah.
You also have your I totally agree that the players could do that. Now, what La Russa may have been doing was diffusing the situation too. Like
right.
He didn't want guys throwing at each other every day the rest of the series. So I get that too. But he
was protecting his players in a way too, right?
By selling him out, but it didn't. Yeah. I mean, they still threw at him, right? They still threw at him.
Or try. Okay, excuse me. Right. He was trying to protect his players.
He was trying to protect.
Mistake. Go ahead.
So I think there's a way to do it. I think there's a way, and I don't know if that was the right way to do it. Now, he needed to be told. Like, I honestly don't think there was, the count's 3-0. I shouldn't. I think he was just like a baseball player. And this guy, he probably didn't even know what the count was. The guy's just lobbing balls in there. He's probably trying to play home run derby. Probably harder to hit that pitch that's doing this than whatever. But I digress. So yes, can you let the second part of the question? Can you let the boys, play and also respect the game? I don't know. I don't have an answer for that.
It's a good question, though. It's a tough question.
It's a tough question. Like, I was listening to the SEC guys yesterday, which was Berkey and he's great.
Not Paul Feinbaum.
No, this is baseball.
Just kidding.
Not Feinbaum. The big right-handed pitcher. All our listeners are like, pitched at Stanford. Kyle Peterson. Very good. Kyle Peterson's right. So those guys, I mean, they're so good. They're probably the best SEC baseball guys. Ben McDonald actually is really good too, right? So you have guys, and they were talking about it like, what do you think about the bat flip? Or would you be okay if a pitcher screamed at you after he struck you out to end the inning?
Yeah.
Right. So why is that any better than a guy flipping a bat up in the air like 10 feet versus a pitcher, or what's his name doing the sword, Bauer doing something like that. Like, what's right and what's wrong? I don't like it personally. Like, I think you hit a home run, you can pimp a home run without flipping a bat way up in the air.
So you're more towards the unwritten rules side of things.
I'm definitely more towards that. Like,
Okay.
if a guy hits a blast, I don't remember Griffey used to walk, like, and Bonds would walk 4 or 5 steps.
But they did it in a way that wasn't showing up the pitcher.
Right. They knew it was a home run.
Yeah.
It had swag, but it wasn't throwing it up. And I'm a big fan of act like you've been there before.
Yeah.
Not that, like, every home run shouldn't be a bottom of the 9th game-winning home run.
Right. Right.
Like, the fact that everybody celebrates after a walk-off win and chases the guy around and throws seeds and water and rips his jersey off and, carries him off the field. I think that's kind of like over the top, but I think it's fun and it's good.
Yeah.
But it's not, in a 1-run game, a guy hits a home run in the 3rd inning and everybody's like, yeah, going crazy. And pitchers doing that because that's what Peterson said. They both said, I kind of like the bat flips.
Yeah.
But if a guy bat flipped when I was playing and pitching, I wouldn't have liked it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, well, you can't answer that question that way.
Yeah.
Like, you don't like it. That's what it means. If you were the guy on the mound and somebody did that in front of you, that would piss me off. Yeah. And as a coach, that's the last thing I want to do. Let's hit a bomb. Mm-hmm. Boom. Hey, there's a 3-run home run. I didn't do cartwheels around the bases. We just took a 3-run lead, but all of a sudden you start showboating. Now all of a sudden that pitcher may have a little Reddit. Now he's pissed. He's like, screw these guys. I'm going to start bearing down here. And then all of a sudden you don't get to run the rest of the game. So I'm definitely more of right or wrong. Like, I think you can toss a bat. I think, and I did it. Like, I didn't flip it up in the air or turn around and bang my chest at the field. But, if I hit a home run, I would kind of like, give it a little toss back to the on deck circle if I was running to first base. But It wasn't showing anyone up. I just don't think. But again, maybe I'm old now, right? I don't like it. But
well, here's the thing. I'm looking up the stand.
If I was a pitcher, I would just throw the next guy's face.
At his face.
Yeah, I'd just be so pissed off if somebody did that.
Why does it got to be at the face?
Because that's just the way they get. Like,
how about the hip?
You don't do that. What is that going to do? It creates a bruise. Like, I would be, if I was a pitcher, and I'm not saying that you should ever throw at anybody's head or even throw at a person, but that would make me want to throw at somebody.
Make you want to, right? You want to, yeah.
It doesn't mean I do it, but if somebody just made me look like a fool,
yeah,
I'm not just going to sit back and throw the next guy a fastball down the middle or a slider.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have, my blood is going to be going, but again, I wasn't a pitcher. Maybe they're just used to that.
Well, when I was, by the way, 2 points. Tony La Russa is doing something right here. I just looked up the standings. The White Sox are in first place in the Central. So something's going right there. For all the people that say Tony La Russa is terrible, Matt, he may not last after the year if the White Sox don't go very far.
Yeah.
He's doing something right.
The White Sox were set to have they have a good team, though. It's not like he's taken the
I understand that.
Rangers to the.
I understand that, but
but again, he also hasn't.
With the criticism he's taking, by the way, the Orioles are 0-10 in their last 10. The criticism that he is taking, at times it's warranted. Other times maybe not so much. But you would think that with the criticism that he's having to endure this season, that the White Sox are like in like 4th place and are just a big disappointment. They're not. They're in first place in the Central. Yeah. Just want to point that out there. Second point I wanted to make. I'm just forgetting. I'm forgetting all my points today.
Who else is in the Central? Minnesota.
When I was, I'll get to that story in a second. Cleveland, Kansas City, Minnesota, Detroit.
That's a great.
Yeah.
What's the White Sox record?
As of today, or as of last Friday, 29-20.
9 games over. That's good.
Not bad. Cleveland's
bad
6 games over.
Yeah.
Let's see who else here.
Twins are not good this year.
Twins are not very good. Tampa Bay is 12 games over.
Of course they are.
The Mets are 4 games over.
I didn't know you traded Adames last week.
I didn't trade Adames, no.
Oh, I shouldn't say the Blue Jays, but the Rays traded him.
You didn't know they traded him.
No.
I love that kid, by the way.
Yeah, I was like,
remember the
whoa,
Bo
great
scouting
trade.
report? Adamas was
Yeah.
another report that I did back in the day, and I think I predicted. Never mind. I'm not. I'm not going to say it because it's a layup for me.
Yeah. No, I did not know he got. I was like, wow,
He
the
went
crew
off the
got
other night.
Adamas.
He went off the other night in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
He's a good player. Oh my god,
Yeah.
he's such a good
Yeah,
player.
they need it. Urias is he's just young. You know, he's not ready for the shortstop.
Speaking of hitting people in the face, which you brought up that you wanted to if you were the pitcher, not saying you would. I don't want.
Doesn't mean I do it with a ball. It just mean I'd be.
I hit a guy in the head when I was 10. I was pitching. I gave up a home run. The next
Me
kid
too.
came up.
Oh.
Kid came up. He pointed his bat like Babe Ruth. First pitch, boom, right in the dome. See you later. Sit down, boy.
That might be. I have so much more respect for you right now.
Thank you. I did that when I was 10. I was 10. And you know what? Let me tell you something. If somebody did that to my son, I would tell him, next time you hit him. Actually, next time you pitch, first guy, you hit him right in the hip.
Right.
That's how you take care of business.
Right.
I'm going to
So
be
you're old school too, unwritten rule.
I do lean unwritten rules.
I
do.
lean that way.
I do. Because I think the let the boys play also gets misinterpreted to where players, and we talked about this last week, where they have some of the best athleticism and skill we've ever seen in the game of baseball, but it's sloppy. And I think when you have that let the boys play, it becomes sloppy. There's a bush league connotation that comes with that. And it's a great marketing ploy. Yeah, and it's a great marketing ploy. That's fine. But there's a fine line there too, to where you're still professionals and people are paying to come watch you play, especially now, the economy trying to recover. Especially now, people might be a little more hesitant to spend that money. They might want to do it somewhere else. So you still have to toe the line of being a professional, where the let the boys play thing becomes, I don't know, there's a fine line there.
Yeah,
and it gets a little too liberal when you talk about let the boys play, and it becomes just a sloppy game, which is what we see on a daily basis right now.
Maybe that's why you need somebody like Tony La Russa.
By the way, Tony La Russa, Dusty Baker, two old school managers, two managers in their 70s. Both their teams are in first place. Yeah. Pretty cool. I'll bring that point up.
Pretty cool. Boy, I like Mike Schilt though.
Well,
what an interview. What an interview.
But I'm just saying, the two oldest managers, the ones who are dinosaurs, they don't know anything about the game. They don't like analytics, blah, blah, blah. They're in first place. Just want to point that out. I know they have good teams. But
but again, being a manager might be less about strategy now, maybe, but it's still how you manage. You're a manager. You have to manage the right people. You have to put them in positions to succeed. Yeah. That's what a manager does. That's what a head coach does, right? They may not, need to know all the shift. You could have an assistant coach and all that, but they need to know how to manage their players properly and get the most out of every single person in that lineup. And they're good at that. Yeah, they're very, very good at that.
A long show this week. Good stuff, though. Next week, guess who we're breaking down? Ronald Acuna Jr.
Oh, nice.
Jonathan India, too, is coming up in 5 weeks.
That's an interesting one. Acuna is an interesting one. That'll be fun to watch.
We're breaking down his swing next week. That'll be a lot of fun. Jonathan India in a few weeks after that. We got some good topics coming up, including how to scout hitters, if you're a scout or whatnot, how to really scout hitters in today's game, because it is a little bit different now with all the new data and analytics. There are some measurables that you can look at that help with your job too. We'll talk about that in a few weeks though. But next week, Ronald Acuna Jr. Mechanical Breakdown Series, volume. I forget which volume. I'll have to fix that though this week.
Yeah, it'll be a good one.
I forgot. Anything coming up at the lab this week? Summer camps, I know is coming. That's a big thing coming up. Oh, look at your face. Very excited.
Summer camp. And props to all our College Station high school guys. We have a bunch of members, that work there. They've worked their tail off.
Yeah.
Not just that high school, Consol too, and Brian and Rudder, but we have a good contingency of College Station high schools, and they're still playing. They're in their, Texas state championships. There's like 10 rounds. The state's so big. Yeah. So they're kicking butt. They beat Friendswood, Texas. That was Friendswood's only loss yesterday. And our guys got hits yesterday, and we're pumped up. So one more win, and that takes them to the state championship. So props to those guys. That's it.
We're done. Very good. All right. Anything else?
Nope. See you next week. Ronald.
All right,
Acuna
everybody.
Jr.
Ronald Acuna Jr. See you guys next week. Get out. Love that shit.